Pilot unconscious. Can the passenger land a complex twin-engine aircraft?
Are you with me?
Yes, I am.
The news out of Bakersfield on this episode of Taking Off. Hi, I'm Dan Milliken, and it's a good day when we can bring you a success story and not just report on a crash with people dying and all that. This story sounds like a good Dennis Quaid, Sandra Bullock movie, and look for it at Netflix in about 2 years. On October 4th, 2024, that's yesterday for this video, a Beech King Air C-90B landed at Bakersfield and overran the runway, but experienced no damage that's been reported. On board was a man and a woman. The man was the pilot and suffered a cardiac arrest, according to one news source. The woman took over and was able to reach air traffic control. The woman was unharmed and the man rushed to the hospital. More on this in a moment, but before we get to the particulars, let's set the stage and talk about this plane. The King Air is an extremely popular turboprop twin engine driven by the venerable Pratt & Whitney PT6 turbine engines. Beechcraft designed the original King Air in the early 1960s. The Model 90 and 100 were the first ones, and later the King Air 200 and 300 lines were made and are slightly larger. The 90 is the smaller variant that can seat 9. It's a utility aircraft used for everything from executive travel, skydiving, medical flights, cargo, and many other uses. Militaries have taken to the plane as well for transport and other things. This particular plane, November 6077 X-Ray, looks to be a 2004 model and was based out of the Las Vegas area for most of its existence. On the day of the flight, the King Air departed Henderson Executive Airport, Nevada, for a destination of Monterey, California, Monterey Regional, taking off just after 11 a.m. local time. The plane climbed to flight level 200 or 20,000 feet on an IFR plan. Their routing took them first south and then west towards the northern part of the LA basin, south of Bakersfield, and then west by northwest towards Monterey. Around 1 p.m. local, while the plane was about 75 nautical miles past Bakersfield, the pilot went unconscious, and the non-pilot female took the controls. She was able to talk to ATC, and it was decided to divert back to Bakersfield. You can see her options here were Paso Robles, San Luis Obispo, or Bakersfield. Paso Robles Municipal has a 6,000-foot runway, 150 feet wide, but is untowered and doesn't have the kind of rescue equipment that might be available at the larger airports. Plus, at 20,000 feet, the plane needed time to descend. San Luis Obispo is towered with a runway of 6,100 feet and 150 feet wide, but Bakersfield Meadows Field was a lot longer, and the weather could have been a big factor in picking the best place. In an emergency like this, you don't really want to put the non-pilot through the clouds where disorientation could happen quickly. Regardless, Bakersfield Meadows was selected. Bakersfield also has a small municipal airport, but Meadows Field is the big one, with an almost 11,000-foot runway, also 150 feet wide, so nearly double the length of the other options, and it's towered, with time to have first responders ready to go as she arrived. Sadly, 2 days before, Bakersfield's first responders had been busy when a Cirrus SR-22 had engine trouble, deployed the parachute system, but still came down hard, with the pilot suffering major injuries. As we look at the ADS-B data, one curious spike is an airspeed ping at double the normal over 500 knots. This is probably an anomaly because there was no change in heading or altitude. It looks like, according to the data, that this is when the pilot went unconscious, and we see a turn to the west, and it looks like the plane was probably still on autopilot. It was this point the passenger took over the controls, and you can see the circle back to the east. With Meadows Field selected for the landing, controllers got her turned around to head back to Bakersfield. She had a pretty stable descent, and she had someone helping her over the radio. It's being reported one struggle was getting the landing gear deployed, but they got that figured out. And here's a clip from the audio as she got close.
Are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so make sure you add a little bit of power. We want to keep the flaps down so we stay slow, but we don't want to hit that too much more, so I need you to add power, okay? We're going to go right-hand turn, should stay level at 6,000 feet. There you go. Your altitude is looking good, 5,900 feet. Trust the level it's sick. You're in a right-hand turn. Continue that right-hand turn.
As you can hear, she's a true hero, and she put the plane down safely. She did overrun the runway a little, but there was no visible damage. First responders were quickly on the scene and removed the pilot. The Kearns County Airport Director, Ron Brewster, told the local news that the passenger had some knowledge, but no pilot certificate. The biggest question right now is the status of the pilot. Paramedics were seen giving chest compressions as he was rushed to the ambulance and sent to the hospital in critical condition, and we hope that he is okay. We just don't know at the time of this report. Another news report mentioned that it was a husband and wife that was on the plane. We just don't know yet. That the husband was the pilot and that the wife has some working knowledge and that she's been a pilot in training. But again, this has not been confirmed. It's still just too early to know. So what do I take away from this incident? Well, the pilot workshop has a handy pilot companion workbook that I keep in my plane. And on long cross-country trips, I encourage non-pilot passengers sitting up front with me to read it. I also tell anyone new in the co-pilot seat how to contact ATC from their seat, what buttons to push. And I think in any emergency like this, for a non-pilot, being able to get help is a very important first step. In pilot training, we're taught to always aviate, navigate, and then communicate in that order. And the plane looked like it was on autopilot, so that's good. You're aviating. And if she were a pilot, then she could navigate and figure out where to go. But as a non-pilot, I think moving communication up was a good call in this case. She was able to talk to ATC and determine the correct navigation, and that was the right call here. Again, our prayers are with the family, and we hope the pilot is okay. As of this recording, we don't have any information on his condition. We don't know anybody's names or anything like that at this point. But we're so grateful the passenger was able to get the plane down safely. Well done. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out our sponsors. I've got links below, like ClemensInsurance.net. Check them out. For another successful miracle in aviation, check out the podcast we did with this plane crash survivor. Remember, superior judgment trumps superior skills. Take care.